right, a very good evening to you. Many thanks for joining us tonight on the broadcast. This is KUTV Weekend Live. We're just about to inform you on everything that is shaping your world in terms of politics, education, agribusiness is on the broadcast tonight. So stay tuned in the next 30 minutes or so. But first, before we get into that, let's get an introduction.
This is Weekend Live with Anyango, Sylvia.
That's right. On the sign language interpretation tonight is Brian Perry. Remember, KUTV Weekend Live is also coming to you live on YouTube at KUTVNEWS Kenya, and you can also engage with us on X at KUTV_Kenya at Anyango Sylvia KE. We begin now. As the world marks International Mother's Day, many take the time to recognize and celebrate the vital role mothers play in raising families and building communities. On this special day, KUTV caught up with several mothers who also double as traders to understand the delicate balance they maintain between entrepreneurship and family life.
Sisi wa mama tumepewa majukumu kubwa na ni mengi na tunayaweza.
To commemorate International Mother's Day, we visited Muthurwa Market to speak with women traders, many of whom are mothers, to get a glimpse into their daily lives, the challenges they face, and their aspirations.
Nalia hata kama ni mzee mzima wanalia akitaja mama, si ndio? So wa mama tuko na hiyo majukumu na ni kitu tulipewa hiyo kazi na Mungu.
While proud of their hard work and resilience, the traders did not shy away from highlighting the economic hardships they grapple with. Many are calling on the government to increase access to affordable loans to help grow their businesses and support their families. Caroline Wesonga, a trader at Muthurwa, says that despite existing government funding initiatives targeted at mothers, the amounts disbursed are too little to make a real impact.
Kazi ya soko ina depend. Hawezi kuwa guaranteed 100% sure naenda kuuza na maliza mzigo. Lakini wakati umeingia kwa soko unajua siku saa zile umeingia kikazi. Lakini ile tuko nayo surety ni kitu kama kwa nyumba. You are mother, you are full mother, unajua responsibilities zako pale. So unapotoka ukuje kwa kazi iko sawa utaifanya, lakini ni kubatisha hauko sure naenda kuuza ama sitauza.
The mothers noted that even with interventions like the ASLA fund, the capital accessible to them remains insufficient. They are appealing to the government to raise the loans limits and create funding structures that reflect the actual needs of the small-scale women traders. Beyond the financial support, the women emphasize the need for the government to be involved at the grassroots levels. They called for regular engagements in markets like Muthurwa to better understand their working conditions.
Si wamama wenye wanafanya biashara ndogo ndogo kama wanaweza kwanza kutujali, waangalie tunafanya kazi wapi. Changamoto zetu hapa kwa soko kwanza ni mengi sana. Yenye serikali hata wangekuja kujua tunafanya kazi na namna gani, wamama wako na namna gani, kwanza wajue tunapitia changamoto gani hapa kwa soko. Changamoto ni mengi kwa soko. Sio kwa soko pekee yake kwa kazi, lakini ni changamoto tu zile tu za kawaida. Lakini wakikuja kwa ground ndio wanaweza tusaidia sana. Hawezi jua but wakikuja ground wanaweza tusaidia zaidi.
They believe that a deeper understanding of their day-to-day challenges would help shape solutions that are practical and inclusive. While celebrating their milestones, these mothers also encouraged fellow women to continue striving and supporting each other for the sake of future generations. According to 2019 Kenyan Population and Housing Census, majority of mothers are striving in the informal sector to make ends meet. Happy World's Mother's Day to all amazing mothers out here. You are our heroines. Patricia Alex, KUTV.
Thank you so much, Patricia. And just as she has said, happy Mother's Day to all mothers in the world. And for those who are lacking mothers to be celebrating for various reasons, including some who lost their lives, we wish you happy Mother's Day on their behalf. And a celebration in their absence. Now moving on to politics, Prime Cabinet Secretary and Cabinet Secretary for Foreign and Diaspora Affairs Musalia Mudavadi returned from a successful 3-day trip to Washington, D.C., where the Kenyan government began new trade talks with the Donald Trump administration. Mudavadi met with Senator Marco Rubio, U.S. Secretary of State in Washington, D.C., where Kenya and the U.S. pledged to continue building on decades of shared values and strategic partnerships. Listen in.
Prime Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi has jetted back from his 3-day visit in Washington, D.C., where he held high diplomatic talks in bid to attract investment and the continued trust between President Donald Trump government and the Kenyan government. Mudavadi's series of meetings included a meeting with Senator Marco Rubio, U.S. Secretary of State, where Kenya and the United States agreed to continue to build on decades of shared values and strategic cooperations. The two leaders discussed regional peace and security, increased commerce and investment, and strengthened diplomatic ties. Mudavadi addressed the U.S. administration on the conflicts in the Greater Horn of Africa, focusing on the ongoing East African Community and South African Development Community SADC-led peace efforts in the Democratic Republic of Congo, which have involved 5 heads of states.
I had a meeting with Mr. Ambassador Greer, the U.S. Trade Representative. In this meeting, we have agreed to engage so that we can deal with the trade-related matters, because you know the tariff conversation is very topical at this point in time. And when you look at Africa, the question of AGOA is more or less coming to its end. Congress, of course, has the opportunity to make the final decision, but we don't know whether they will renew it or not. But every indication is that the enthusiasm to have AGOA extended may not be as strong as it was in the past. So we have to start adjusting to the new realities. And
during his stay in Washington, Mudavadi met with the International Monetary Fund, Mr. Hiroshi Matano, Executive Vice President of MIGA, and his team to discuss a prospective diaspora bond for Kenya. Other discussions were held with the leaders of Exim Bank and the International Development Finance Corporation.
I will be leaving Washington today so that I can now proceed to the Dominican Republic. Thereafter, because we also have links with Brazil, I'll then proceed to Brazil to also conclude our bilateral arrangements.
Mudavadi will then travel to Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, for a memorandum of understanding between May 11th and 13th. He will later proceed to Brasilia on 15th and 16th of May for bilateral talks between Kenya and Brazil, with the eye on multiple agreements, especially in key areas of political consolidation, trade and investment, and agriculture. Edward Nyamo, KUTV.
Now, Mumias East Member of Parliament Peter Salasia has taken his presidential campaign to Kwachocha area in Malindi town. While addressing a rally in Kilifi County, Salasia urged the government to prioritize youth in employment opportunities. The MP criticized the current administration, accusing it of marginalizing the youth through poor policies and rampant corruption by the old political class. He lamented that over 4 million Kenyan youth remain unemployed due to these systemic issues. Salasia also accused senior politicians, both in government and the opposition, of attempting to discredit his presidential ambitions. He claimed they fear his leadership qualities, which he believes will dismantle entrenched cartels in government and pave the way for job creation for the youth.
Kwa sababu wale watu ambao wako pale wanasema tunajenga barabara, tunajenga hospitali, tunafanya nini, lakini kama hatuwezi ongelea mambo ya job creation katika nchi yetu ya Kenya, mambo ya production in this country, mambo ya industrialization, mambo ya manufacturing, because kwa sababu saa hii matajiri akisomesha pia maskini anasomesha. Saa hii zaidi ya milioni karibu milioni 4 they are unemployed, hawana kazi. Hakuna kijana ambaye ametembea nchi ya Kenya kama sio Peter Salasia. Na kama wanasema ati mimi nataka kudivide kura, waniambie ni nani amedeclare kusimama president kama asiyopita 30. Apart from mwenye yako na mimi, waniambie ni nani? Na mimi niko karibu 2027 nitakuwa na miaka 30.
Now the government has disbursed 70 million Kenyan shillings to compensate families affected by human-wildlife conflicts in Laikipia County just days after the launch of the new initiative over the same. Laikipia is the first of 6 hotspot counties targeted to receive the compensation drive. Other counties to benefit from the drive are Kajiado, Taita Taveta, Makueni, Narok and Kwale counties. The disbursement was made during a ceremony in Naibor, in Laikipia County, attended by Deputy President Professor Kithure Kindiki, Cabinet Secretary for Tourism and Wildlife Rebecca Miano, Principal Secretary for Wildlife Sylvia Musia, Laikipia Governor Joshua Irungu, and Women Representative Jen Kagiri and local leaders.
Serikali imeamua ya kwamba yale madai yote ya kihistoria ya migogoro ya binadamu na wanyama isuluhishwe, wananchi walipofidia, wale ambao walipoteza wapendwa wao, wale ambao waliumizwa na hata wale mimea yao imeharibiwa.
Ndio tumetenga mwezi huu wa 5 kuimarisha maneno ya kulipa fidia kwa wale walioathirika kwa migogoro ya binadamu na wanyama.
Now, Narok Governor Patrick Olentutu has warned against mismanagement of Mau Forest evictees compensation funds. Speaking at Olmegenyu in Narok South, Olentutu insisted that all 13,500 people marked for compensation must receive their rightful shares without interference or corruption. The governor expressed dissatisfaction with how the first phase of compensation amounting to 600 million Kenyan shillings was handled, citing reports of irregularities and favorism. Ntutu warned government officials, brokers and local leaders against tampering with it, adding that those found guilty of malpractice will face legal actions.
Tulisema mambo ya wale ambao walitolewa Mau. Rais alitangaza ya kwamba tunaenda kutafuta pesa tukuje tufanye compensation. Kaikazi? Compensation. Alisema yeye mwenyewe hakuna mtu tena atarudi huko Mau. Ameweka ua na anaweka sasa round hata pande ile nyingine ambayo haikuwa inawekwa. Lakini wale 13,500 ambayo inajulikana, hawa ndio viongozi wenyu wataketi na county commissioner na ofisi ya rais watakaa chini vizuri tupate hiyo.
Now, while Kenyans in other parts of the country are enjoying the services and steady mobile networks as well as a reliable power supply for residents in Balich, Sukundi Ward in Balambala Sub-County, Garissa County, that remains a dream. Despite the sub-location being just 30 kilometers from Garissa town and only 10 kilometers from one of Kenya's biggest solar power plants located in Raya, the area has lacked power for the last 5 months after the only transformer in the area failed. Residents in the area lamented how for 40 years they have had to travel for 30 kilometers to access network in Sankuri, or alternatively climb trees to access mobile networks.
Hapa watu wa Balich sisi tuko na matatizo mingi sana. Kwanza mambo ya network. Hapa hii village iko miaka karibu 40. Hatuna network. Ile mahali karibu ni hapa ni Sanguri 30 km, Saka 20 km. Hapa kuna network kabisa. Ile kitu kingine sisi sahi ni sub-location. 40 years village inakuwa sub-location. Inaweza kwaje?
Tuko na shida hapa. Hatuna stima miezi 5. Hatuna chuma ya Safaricom. Maka 40 ni sub-location. Tunataka tukue location. Barabara pia ni tuko na shida. Kupita barabara pia ni shida. Tuko shida wengi. Hata mama ikijifungua ako na shida. Mtoto kama ni mgonjwa ako na shida.
Now on that note, we're taking the very first break on the broadcast tonight. Stay with us.
Access to knowledge, solution to unanswered questions.
Guidelines to pursuing your rights and repossessing your property, intellectual or material.
This and more, only on Law Matters.
Ni nguzo na uso wa jamii. Kupanda shuka, akawa tuzo. Ukakamavu wake, ukatii na kumfanya mwenye bidii. Kwa machozi na makeke, akabaini jinsi ya kuwini. Huyu ni mwanamke ngangari, kwa jinsi alivyo ng'ari. Mimi ni mwanamke mwake. Usikose kutazama kipindi cha mwanamke mwake, nami Caroline Kimweli.
Agribusiness tonight. Still in Garissa County, small-scale farmers from Garissa County are calling on the government to once and for all find a permanent solution to the perennial floods that always leads to death and destroy farms every rainy season. The farmers have been incurring losses amounting to millions following the spillage from the dams which find its way into River Tana. Speaking to the press at their farms in Maramtu, Garissa sub-county, the farmers complain that crops, some which are ready for harvest, are always destroyed. Water pumps and pipes to their farm beds are swept away as it becomes difficult to access the farms to retrieve the little left behind due to poor roads.
Hii maji imeadhiri sana ukulima hii, ambapo sahi hakuna kitu yoyote wakulima wanafanya. Wakulima wamekuwa sasa ni kuja kusimama chini ya miti na kukaa na kuangalia miti kama maua. Kwa mfano sahi ile kitu inabaki kwa hii maji ni hizi miti za maembe peke yake.
Mimi napanda 850,150 NDC, haki ya Mungu. Namelisa shamba yangu. Injil 3 imeenda, shamba 30 imeenda. Sasa bila mimi naona gambo hiyo ingine yuko rais, lakini sisi hakuna rais.
Mimea ni mingi tunaipanda. Tukiwa karibu ku harvest hiyo shamba, maji ndio hiyo. Wanyama wanachukuliwa na maji, wanaachilia maji sana sana usiku, ndio maji zinaingianga kwa shamba. Sikiingia wanyama ndio hiyo. Hata kuna vijana wengi wamekufa, hata tujui saa hizi wameenda wapi. Sasa hiyo shida tuko nazo ni nyingi sana hapa. Hatuvuni kwa mwaka wa karibu mwaka 5 hivi hatujaona mavuno hapa.
Now, mortalities have been termed as one of the major challenges facing small-scale chicken farmers, particularly due to lack of proper breeding techniques. In our special feature stories segment today by our very own James Baraka, we dive into the business model that Winnie Cheruiyot, a special needs teacher who couldn't ignore her passion for chicken farming, has adopted, a model that has not only reduced chick mortality from 50% to only 5%, but also improved farmers' production and boosted their chances of profits from the chicken value chain.
As population growth continues to significantly impact food security in the country, research scientists have lauded the chicken industry in Kenya for its contribution to the country's GDP and its support to several households.
The chicken industry in Kenya is a very vital sector, which is contributing up to 4% of the agricultural GDP. And the sector supports several households, like around 3.6 million households.
I went for my car. 1,040,000 was from chicks, nothing else. After that,
nestled at the heart of these industries, Winnie Cheruyot, a special needs teacher at St. Kizito School for the Deaf, who could not at all ignore her passion for chicken farming.
Chicken can produce meat. We sell when I have extra jogos, I sell. I get money. When the eggs layers, after they have laid for quite some time, I usually dispose them at 60 weeks. And by doing that, I sell for meat.
Few years ago, Cheruyot adopted a business model that she says has not only reduced chick mortality from 50% to only 5%, but also improved production and boosted her chances of profiting from the chicken value chain. But how did the journey towards chicken production begin for Cheruyot?
Since I have eggs, I thought of adding value to my egg. I thought of hatching it so that I can sell chicken. So by doing so, I will have added value to my egg by hatching and selling it as chicken.
And the process didn't just stop there.
After hatching, I vaccinate the first vaccine, which is Merex. Usually, I know it is difficult for people with small capacity to vaccinate Merex because it is very expensive.
I undertake matters animal health across all.
According to Wilfred Mutisi, a veterinary doctor based at Karo Naivasha Dairy Research Institute, it is recommended for farmers to vaccinate chicks once they are hatched to enhance their survival, just as Cheruyot does.
During the entire life of a chicken within a farm setting, once it is hatched at day one, there are those vaccines that are recommended to be given. However, it's important to know that depending on where you source your chicks, or rather the hatchery that you get your chicks, some of these vaccination schedules might vary from one farm to another.
Additionally, Mutisia says that chicken are infected with various kinds of diseases that every farmer must always be cautious about.
Chicken have a lot of diseases that a farmer needs to worry about, and diseases normally belong to different categories. There are those that are called viral diseases. We have bacterial diseases. There are those that will result from management, especially issues to do with nutrition, and those are affiliated to deficiencies. There are fungal, especially mycotoxins or aflatoxins. So those are the major categories of diseases that a farmer needs to worry about.
However, farmers have also raised concerns with the challenge that arises from chicken farming, especially in the hatching processes whenever there is power outage.
Stima ikipotea ina reduce hiyo kusalisha hiyo mayai yote, kuhatch hiyo mayai yote. Saa zingine tunatumia stima, so anataka kitu inaitwa backup.
There are many farmers who get high mortalities because of lack of proper brooding techniques. But then farmers like Winnie come in and fill that gap and do proper vaccination, proper heat provision, and supply these other small-scale farmers with pre-brooded chicks, and that enhances survival.
Despite these highlighted challenges, Cheruyot now encourages farmers to invest even more in chicken farming, highlighting that the benefits it brings surpasses the challenges.
Poultry keeping can pay. The first chicks I distributed was 1,000. I was paid 350,000. I told you just get 350 after going for a loan.
We encourage many other farmers across the country to utilize, not just in Kenya but even beyond. And in such a perspective, we will be very happy if in future we have more farmers like Winnie Cheruyot who adopted the right way of doing production business and selling and marketing. And it's one of the way to have a food secure nation.
As this happens, the Kenya Agricultural and Livestock Research Organization KALRO continue to call on all farmers to embrace management of standard practices in handling chicken brooding, feeding, vaccination against common diseases and record keeping. This, it says, ensures both quality chicken and reliable market for the farmer. James Baraka for KUTV.
Now in sports tonight, the eagerly awaited FKF Premier League Mashimeji Derby between rivals Gor Mahia and FC Leopards that was scheduled for Sunday has been postponed. FKF issued a statement confirming the postponement of the 97th derby until further notice. According to FKF, the Confederation of African Football (CAF) directed that the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, the initially proposed venue, remain unavailable due to final preparations ahead of the 2025 African Nation Champions (CHAN), for which it is a designated competition venue. CAF had proposed that the fixture be moved to the Ulinzi Sports Complex and played behind closed doors to preserve CHAN infrastructure and maintain security standards. However, the venue declined to host the match, citing internal concerns around safety and the risk of vandalism. And internationally, Newcastle has thrashed 10-man Chelsea 2-0 at St. James Park this afternoon, keeping their top fifth finish hopes alive. Sandro Tonali opened the score sheet at second minute, putting the Magpies ahead with Chelsea's Nicholas Jackson receiving a red card during the 35th minute of the game. Newcastle's win propels them to position 3 on the table, comfortable with 66 points, just a point above Manchester City and a point behind second-placed Arsenal, while Chelsea maintain their 5th position. Meanwhile, Arsenal secured a point at Anfield after coming back from 2 goals behind to draw 2-2 against Liverpool. Luis Diaz and Cody Gakpo gave Liverpool a first-half lead before Gabriel Martinelli and Mikel Merino, each putting the ball at the back of the net in the second half. Now that marks the end of our broadcast tonight. Thank you so much for choosing KUTV News at 9. I'm reading a number of comments which I can't read for you, but they're interesting. Thank you so much for keeping it KUTV this far. Sign language interpreter tonight is Brian Peru, and I'm Anyango Sylvia. Have a good night.
Are you an aspiring media practitioner, a graduate, or you just want to advance your skills in television production? Then welcome to Kenyatta University, where education meets innovation. KUTV, the premier university television station in Kenya, is now offering short courses in TV studio, field technical operations, and video editing. Through these courses, you will acquire hands-on skills on camera operations, media production, lighting techniques, audiovisual editing, and sound and visual control, and how to operate key equipment in modern TV control room. Enroll today at KUTV and discover your full potential in cutting-edge TV broadcasting. Graduates of these courses will receive professional certificates. For more information, visit our offices at KUTV Studios or call us on 020-870-4252 or 020-870-4255 or SMS us on 0739-110-544. KUTV, a new experience.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
Folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepopa siko kufuku. Pepopa ni idea.
Sasa ananyonya, anyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na uasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vilevile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili. Hiyo inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
Fashion. It's more than just clothes. It's a statement, a feeling. An art form, a way to express yourself, a reflection of who you are. It's Fashion Diaries. Join me, Ashley Asachi, every Monday from 8 p.m. as we bring you Kenya's latest trends. Imagine fashion designers, glamorous fashion events, runway shows, red carpet events, and so much more. Fashion Diaries, unleashing your inner fashionista.
Ungana nami Malkia wa Taarab katika mitindo ya kipwani hapa KUTV. Yaani tunapozungumzia mitindo ya kipwani basi unaona napigwa na mawimbi makali sana ya baharini kutoka katika ufuo wa hoteli moja inayofahamika kama North Coast Beach Hotel, ambao ndio wadhamini wa kipindi hiki cha mitindo ya kipwani. Penzi mtazamaji, kwenye mitindo ya kipwani hutakosa kupata mapishi ya vyakula vya kipwani. Yaani hapa tunazungumzia vyakula vilivyokolezwa na kukorombezwa. Iliki, karafuu, abdalasini, samaki wa baharini, vyakula vilivyopikwa na kusuka kwa kutumia nazi. Bila kusahau mazungumzo ya moja kwa moja, mazungumzo ya kusisimua na wataalam tofauti, waandishi wa vitabu waliobobea, watunzi wa kuhani mashairi. Bila kusahau mpenzi mtazamaji, taratibu zetu za taarabu na chakacha. Yaani pale ni pale ambapo viuno vya wanawake vinazungushwa